welcome to this video. If you have been through some of my previous videos, you might have heard me saying ego conflict or something like that, right? So I'll also give you some situations even in this video. So I got a question from one of the parents. What is ego? How do you define ego? So if you want to know how does this ego come in between parent and the child that actually disturbs this beautiful relation that already exists between the parent and the child, then stay until the end of this video and you will get your answers. Now, speaking of ego, so let me give you some examples, some stories, right? So sometimes what happens is the parent tries to calm down, the parent tries to be gentle, the parent tries to want to respect the child also, and the parent tries to listen to what the child is saying. And in this journey, ultimately it keeps troubling the parent that it's the more and more lenient I am becoming, the more and more adamant my child is becoming. Or towards the end of the day, it's like I've listened 20 times to my child and my child barely listened 1 or 2 times to me. Right? So if it is just, if the interactions that you are having with your child is just to do with these transactions, like who listened to whom, or I listen to you or you listen to me, just to do this with these transactions, then it just turns out to be an ego conflict, just a conflict between egos. Is he or she listening to me, or am I having to listen to her? Right? Some kind of ego conflict. Whereas in the same interactions, with the same experiences, if just forget about who's listening to whom, just focus on, am I able to connect with my child's feelings? Am I able to communicate whatever your feeling is to your child? Am I being open for my child to communicate his or her feelings to you? Right? To me. So this is one perspective, and the ego conflict is another perspective. So yes, maybe you are calm, you are gentle, you are not raising your voice, you are not yelling out loudly, but towards the end of the day, if it's just a transactional relationship, just thinking of how many times did I listen to you and how many times are you listening to me, then it turns out to be an ego conflict. I'll give you another beautiful example. Again, maybe you are serving some kind of you're just serving some kind of candies or cookies or toffees or some kind of junk which you think is junk in your perspective, and maybe your child likes it, yes, and then maybe you have given your child some 2 pieces and then your child is asking another, and then you're giving another, and your child is asking another, then somewhere deep down something is burning inside of you. Yes, how much ever he gives me, I told you I'll give you only 2, and you keep on asking a third one every time it happens. Yes, sometimes it's also coming out from you, and the child thinks, no, I wanted to eat 3, why are you giving me only 2, is what the child thinks. So again, there becomes an ego conflict. It tends to be an ego conflict. Is he listening to me, or is she listening to me, or am I having to listen to her? Yes, and again, when you are like kind of again pushing, pulling child to do things, waking up, brushing, bathing, breakfast, classes, homework, playtime, sleep time, dinner time, sleep time, wind up time, story time, whatever it is, at whatever times you have set up for your child, again, right? When you are pushing, pulling, and then he just doesn't listen to me, and then your child is, while you are thinking that he or she just doesn't listen to me, your child might be thinking that my parent just doesn't listen to me. Yes, that also happens. So again, it just becomes an ego conflict. It boils down to just be an ego conflict. And when there is an ego conflict, more importantly, when there is an ego conflict, the winning and the losing depends on who got the last word, or who listened to whom, or ultimately who's done what. Basically, who's done what. But when there is no ego conflict, when you have put aside that ego conflict, the winning situation is you knowing your child's feelings, you connecting to your child's feelings, you being open for your child to express his or her own feelings, or you may be expressing your feelings. Yes, all these are more important. Whatever it is, whatever conflict it is that you and your child are in, this is the need at that point of time. You understanding your child and your child understanding you. Both of them are important, right? Maybe you also have your own valid reasons to be understood by your child. Yes, So this is the need, not who's listening to whom, not who won or who did this, how many times, or how many times did I listen to him or her, and how many times did he or she listen to me. Yes, more than that, it is a feeling that is important. Now, the question is, why do we have this ego conflict? Or you also might have also heard this word ego mind or ego self, which one has inside of one's this existence. And if you've been to one of my sessions, even I use this word, that ego mind or ego self or false self or whatever it is. Well, again, as with anything, even the word ego has various definitions, right? According to science, according to psychology, according to spirituality, yes, there are various definitions, but I'll just bring it down and I'll just put it to you simply in simpler manner, so that you will understand what is it that you can operate from when you are with your child, right? So yes, in ego, yes, there are various types. Again, there is this false ego, there is this true ego, and also there is this super ego. Yes, super ego is kind of more to do with the collective, the ultimate consciousness, like you are identifying yourself with the ultimate universal consciousness. Yes, so that could be defined as superego. I wouldn't go deep into the superego. I'm more here to tell you what is true ego, what is false ego, and what is it that you are associating yourself with, right? So again, ego is, just with the word ego, it's not a bad word. Usually, again, it is used as a bad word. She has a lot of ego, or he has a lot of ego, or he shows ego, or she shows ego, right? No, just with the word ego, it's not just a bad word, but it is about how you are associating yourself with the definition of ego. So yes, there is now what we are focusing on is true ego and false ego. So in true ego, what happens is, let me start with false ego. In false ego, what happens is, whatever is happening, right? Whatever you are doing or whatever is not happening, whatever the other person is not doing, or whatever the other person is doing, the false ego mainly identifies the self to be the ultimate source, to be the main doer, right? It's like, okay, I've helped this person, or maybe I've donated this money to this person. Oh my God, I'm such a great human being. Okay, you are great, you are amazing. I'm not talking about those genuine affirmations or genuine self-esteem that you should be carrying. You're supposed to be carrying that genuine self-esteem for yourself, and you should be telling to yourself that you are amazing, you are amazing, you are amazing. That is totally different. That is entirely different from this concept of false ego, right? So in false ego, you are associating yourself with the ultimate doer. It's like, whatever is happening, whatever is being done, it's me who's doing. Or I've given them maybe 5,000 in charity. Oh my God, it's such a pride feeling for me. Or maybe I'm holding so many materialistic stuff in my house. Oh my God, it's such a pride for me. I've like bought a new car, I've bought a new phone, I've bought a new that, I've bought a new laptop, I bought a new dress, I bought a new toy, and I buy so many things for my child. It gives you a sense of pride that you got to bought all of these, or like that you are the doer, you are the source, or again, if there is order in the house, or if there is somebody who's going to control it, your child, it's you, right? It's you, right? So what happens is, the false ego identifies or is something which associates yourself with the ultimate source. But let's go back to the roots, that is spirituality. We are all spiritual souls on a human journey, right? So we are not the original doers, right? So if I have given a charity of 5,000, or if I have bought a new car, or if I have bought a new nice, pretty good toy set, a pretty expensive toy set for my child, it's not just me who is involved in getting it, right? It's not my greatness that I have given 5,000 in charity to that person or to that family. Something happened there. The original source, the ultimate source, is the divine, that universal energy which is kind of directing all beings, which is kind of which is kind of directing everything to be in the way that they're supposed to be moving, right? So when I am associating that it is my pride that I've given him 5,000 rupees, that is my false ego. Things fell in place for anything to happen, just for you to chat, just chit chat lovingly with your spouse, or for just you to chit chat lovingly with your child. It is not just because of you, it is not just because of your spouse, it is not just because of your child. Many things fall in place, fall right in place at that point of time, so that this experience is kind of emerged between you two, whoever it is, or among this group of individuals, be it your family time or whatever it is, right? Many things could have gone wrong. Health, wealth, finance, or house, or there are so many things which could go wrong. But there is some higher force which is kind of making things work. Yes, you have to make things work for yourself, but when you are doing it for yourself, it is not your entire ownership of that, whatever it is that you have done, whatever it is that you have achieved, whatever it is that you've donated to that person. You were just a channel for that 5,000 rupees to pass from you to that person. It came from some other place. There was another ultimate source. There is another person, not person maybe. There are higher forces in this universe. There are some spiritual forces in this universe which are directing things the way they are supposed to be going. Yes. So when you feel pride, feel a sense of pride that, oh my God, I have done so much for my child, or I have done so much for that, I've donated so much for charity. It's not you. You were just a channel to get that thing rolling to that person, right? And the universe has chosen you as a channel to do that, to get it rolling. And for that, you got to be grateful to universe and just offer your thanks to the universe, saying, thank you for actually offering me this opportunity, for choosing me as a channel to donate that 5,000 to this person. And even for the child, it's the same. It's not you who's doing the entire stuff for your child. You've just been chosen as a channel to provide love, kindness, and joy and the required support to your child. It's not entirely you who has to control your child. Yes? Getting things? So false ego is that sense of false ownership. I could say false ownership, or it's like associating everything that's going on with your own self. It's me who's doing it. I'm great. I'm kind of, it's me who's donated so much. It's me who's bought this car. It's me who's bought this for my child. No. It's me who's bought this house. No. There are other forces that are acting, and everything that you are feeling is being, will just come back to you. Right? So, it's the same way, if you are feeling grateful for whatever opportunities that you are having to connect with your child, that you are being the channel to provide support to your child. Your child has chosen you for that. Yes, and then you are feeling grateful for that. That is how beautiful that situation, the same tantrum situation, will turn out to be. Now, let's talk about true ego. So, true ego is just the opposite of false ego. True ego is basically identifying that, okay, I'm not the source, I'm just the channel for whatever it is that's going on. So in terms of maybe children, in terms of parenting, it is that, okay, my child is going through tantrums, but what is my true self? What is my true role? So identifying yourself with your true self is the true ego. Associating yourself with your true self is the true ego. Right? So, okay, my child is going through tantrums. So as a true self, what is it that I can do? Do I just say, stop it, don't do that, and make him calm down, make him stop crying? Or do I do something else so that I can connect with him? I can know what is making him cry, what is making her disturbed, feeling disturbed, or what is it that is going on behind the scenes. This is something that comes from your true self, your true ego. Right? And then there is false ego, which is kind of identifying you as a ultimate thing, as an ultimate source. Yes? So ego is, again, just the term ego may not have various definitions. So when somebody is again associating ego as a bad attitude, as a bad attribute, as a negative attribute, as a negative adjective to a person, it might not entirely be true. Again, it boils down to your own perspective. Yes, again, as with any word, each one brings their own unique definition to the context that is going on in their life, right? And that's true. That is true because that's true for your case, in your case. So again, coming back, when I'm saying that, or when you seemingly are getting into this ego conflict of who's listening to whom, it's me who's listening to you, or it's you who's listening. I can shout, but you cannot shout, and then or you are shouting, saying that you stay silent, and then the child is shouting back that why you shouting then, right? It is turning out to be an ego conflict. It is not in terms of understanding. It is not in terms of acceptance. It is just turning out to be an ego conflict. And that is what we should be wary of. That is what we don't want this relationship to turn out. Be it anything, be it your relationship with your spouse or your parent or your parent-in-law, any little conflict that you have, just don't let it become an ego conflict, right? Otherwise that understanding is lost, that connection is lost, that communication just doesn't happen, right? For example, the TV's maybe something is happening and the other person has done something which is not appropriate in your perspective, yes, and then you just yell out loud or shout out loud, kind of blaming it. Why did that person do that? It shouldn't be done this way, or it shouldn't be done at this point of time. Yes, and just because you shouted, or just because you start that blaming or something like that, the other person's ego is hurt, right? The other person starts to shout it, and then it becomes an argument. And that is what is ego conflict. Argument, blaming each other. Argument, justifying, defending each other, right? Defending the self. Argument, defending the self. Okay, I've done that because it's something that I think, this is what I think. And the other person also says, I have done that because that is what I think. And that person is right in her perspective. You are right in your perspective. But simply arguing, but simply transacting while you are talking, all of this boils down to be an ego conflict, and little things, tiny little things of such ego conflicts just keep compounding and compounding and compounding and worsen the relationship. You can just go back and look into any conflicts that you have with, not just with your child, but even your fellow adults, your friends or your parents-in-law, whoever it is that, whatever it is that you are going through, right? Was that just to satiate each one's false ego that I wanted to defend myself and hence I defended, but he or she also wanted to defend herself and he or she also defended. You are right and he or she also is right. But what was the need of that situation? The need was understanding each other, connecting with each other, knowing what's going on inside, or knowing the feelings, and then communicating, basically communication, right? So this is what is needed in any kind of conflict. And when you go with false ego, when you identify yourself with false ego, that is something that does not happen. So from this moment onwards, whenever you are just getting into a conflict or just getting into an argument with anybody out there, or even with your child, just make sure that you are not conquered by your false ego. Just be your true self, and that's enough. You need not become something else, but just be your true self. Yes, so under this video there is a link that takes you to my upcoming free masterclass. Just click on that link below and register for and block your seat, and I'll meet you live, where I'm going to discuss many other deep concepts that go behind the scenes of children and parenting. So meet you live. Cheers, take care, happy parenting, bye bye.